Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. Serious topic today now, very serious topic. Talking about why black women marry less. And I got that question yesterday in the comments. Now, I'm not sure if it was really like a real question or a rhetorical question, but what you have to think about, and really when you go all the way back, I feel like we kind of all understand it, but sometimes we don't really want to confront the truth of the matter, and we hold out hope. But speaking from my perspective as a black man and being and growing up around black men, what you have to realize is that as black men, we are not raised to think that we need to be married and that a marriage will complete us or help us advance in life. So, and the reason being is because typically you may have, if you have a father in the home, that's the first thing. Is it's rare to have a father in the home as a black male. So my father was in the home, and that's what made me want to be married. But I'll be honest with you, I remember as a young kid, before I really knew any better, before I had any understanding of a father needing to be in the home and what a father brings to the home, I remember saying to my dad, "Dad, can you not come to some of the games? Because I'm the only one with a dad." And I remember one time later, as I was older and I understood and appreciated my dad, him and my mom got into it. And I remember when he got ready to leave, got ready to storm out, he was like, "Tony, you finally gonna get what you want, cause I'm leaving." And I was like, "No! What do you mean? Come here!" I tackled him, I dove on his ankle, trying to hold him. And it, now being an adult, being married, I realized they just had a normal argument, and he was using that as his escape to get some time out of the house to go, cool off and have some me time. But because it wasn't that deep as far as how they was arguing. But and my mama, I know my mama, she'll push every last button you ever had. And so now that I'm older, I understand that. But I remember I had one group of friends. So we got this whole neighborhood, and this whole neighborhood, and it's one little road that kind of run between us, not a highway, but a kind of a main road. So you got this whole neighborhood over here, all black. And then you got this road that go right here, and on the other side of this road, it was like a little nicer houses, and that's where I lived at. Of course, none of this gated, and you just cross the street. The street is literally take you 4-5 steps to cross the street, not a highway or anything like that, to cross into the all black. Now the all black houses was probably from 1920, 1900. They were small. It was some apartments. It was just ran down. My house probably was built, I think, 1950. So this was 1990, 1995-ish. So I moved in there in 1989. So my house was already, 30 years old. Cost $45,000 just to paint a picture of the area. So on my side, my next neighbors down 2 doors was white families. So, and then down that road was a couple more white families, but it was white families who had a little less income. Then we had a little pond right there. And over there was, my cousin, them lived over there. Now, my cousin had his daddy in the home. My two cousins. Even though my two cousins had their daddy in the home, the oldest one dropped out of high school in the 9th grade and became full-fledged in the streets. I mean, one of the top dogs in the streets. The youngest one barely graduated high school. Even though my daddy was in the home, my sister got pregnant at 16. And I got in the streets. Even though I went to college on a full football scholarship, I still got in the streets at 18, 19. And so it go to show you how, this is why I be trying to tell people about the music, and the music raising the kids. The music have more influence than the parents if the parents allow the children to just listen to whatever music, watch all the music videos, be on all the social media. For us, it was the music, you know, it's what you looking up to and what you hearing that make you wanna, oh, my dad ain't cool because he ain't getting to no money. You know, I see my daddy right there, but he ain't got no money. All right, he ain't got no jewelry. All right, he, you know, he with my mama, man, that ain't cool. So when you young, you're a young man, you looking more up to the dope boys and the star athletes, and they're looking up to the people with the money. Who got the most money? Who got a message? Rappers, you know, music artists. So everybody looking as money because money is the freedom. Money is the ticket out. So what you have to realize as black males, the woman is seen as fodder, you know, as a pain pill, as an accessory, as it was a saying growing up, you can't live with her and you can't live without her. That's what my cousin daddy used to say. Women can't live with them, can't live without them. And one of my other homeboys, his daddy was in the home. Now, I'm mentioning, I could think of 3 families other than mine who dad was in the home. But here's the thing. Just because a father is present does not mean the father is active. It does not mean the father is effective. So some men will be with a woman because they realize they need help. And they realize that they don't want to be alone. But very rarely is it that the man stays with the woman who had his first children. And so my friends' dads, they had a woman. The woman just wasn't their mother, you know. And then my best friend, his dad was in prison our whole life. I don't know what he's in prison for still to this day. I met him at 5 years old. His dad was in prison. So that was another thing. So some dads was prison. Some of the dads was, you know, shot and killed. They had already, you know, whether it was street related, gang related, or, you know, just a shooting. Some dads had passed away. And then some dads had, you know, just left. They didn't work out. And so you had the prison system, you had violence, and then you had just no foundation of how to make a relationship work. Now, when you cross the aisle and you go to the white couples, you know, there was almost everybody had a 2-parent home. And then if somebody parents went through a divorce, they parents remarried within a year or two, within 2 years. So a lot of the white kids that was in our school, if they went through a divorce, they still weren't single mom. It was very rare for there to be a white child who was in a single parent household. It exists, but just the numbers were completely different. So on the black side, you looking at 80 to 90% single parent. On the white side, you looking at 80 to 90% 2-parent home. And so what you got to realize is just it's all institutional in the sense of slavery was an institution. Marriage is an institution that's backed by God. Slavery is not backed by God. But what you have to understand is that the people who found the country, and they say, listen, we gonna take power here. We finna lie, cheat, steal, loot. We finna do whatever we got to do to these Native Americans. We gonna enslave the blacks, and we finna take power. And this how you become successful. Power structure. You got to have your wife. You got to have kids, because that's who gonna take over your plantation. That's who gonna take over your business. So you need to have your kids and keep on having them. Make sure you have you a son. Get your daughter in there because she need to be able to reproduce as well. And your son need to be able to carry on your last name. And so that they had a structure. when you look at the black race in America, there was no structure because we were slaves. So you can be bought, sold. This man could marry this woman, but then this man gets sold to another plantation. Now that woman raising them children by herself. So you come up out of that, y'all trying to find, but ain't no email. Y'all trying to find each other. You know, where John Henry? Can't send him no email. Can't make no phone call. Can't write him no letter because you don't know his address. And you can't read and write anyways. You see what I'm saying? So all this is, it's not that the black woman is cursed. It's not that the black woman is undesirable. It's literally just the constructs, the foundation of our existence in America not being secure and not having a blueprint, not having a game plan. And so, and then it's just pain passed down to pain. So when you really, and you look at them slave movies, and you got to realize them slave movies, you watch the Django, you know, it ain't going to tell you the whole story because the media is not going to tell you everything you need to know. Birth of a Nation, you know, with the Nat Turner, that still ain't going to tell you the whole story. You can't believe nothing you see. Some stuff going to be exaggerated and some stuff going to be left out. Some of the vile stuff. So imagine in 2020, if we still, as black people, can be killed in the streets and then police not convicted, if that still can happen today, imagine when it was legal, what could happen. Imagine, really understand what was happening when it was legal. So when you hear about a slave master taking and boom, spreading open that man from the back and penetrating him in front of his woman, in front of his kids, in front of the other slaves to emasculate him, to break him, to strip him of all his dignity. When you hear stuff like that, yeah, it was some of the, it could have been the slave master's son, could have been his brother, could have been old drunk cousin that he let dole out that punishment. You move, you fight, we blowing your brains out. And then can you imagine the countless amount of slaves that died from getting shot, from fighting back? When slave master wanted to touch his wife and he said, no, you're gonna have to kill me first. You see what I mean? Because I would have been one of those that would have died. That's why I said, Lord, you let me come in the right time because you needed me to get this message out. Listen to the message that I'm bringing of stability, of love, of unity, of building the household, telling men, be faithful to your woman. Stay in your household, raise your kids, focus on the family. I couldn't have brought this message in 1960. I couldn't have brought this message in 1890. Lord, let me come at the right time because he know I would have been dead as a doorknob if he would have let me come at the wrong time. So what you got to understand is it's just pain trickling down. So it's not about trying to understand it in a sense or trying to complain about it. It's really about being able to explain it, being able to sit down and have this conversation, because to be honest with you, nobody's talking about the history. You know, we have a Black History Month, but we ain't talking about the damage of the history. We not thinking about how that history plays out today. So if a woman sits down, if a black woman sits down with a black man and you start to talk about some of the damage and repercussions of slavery, and then all of the things that went on from the systemic racism and discrimination and the redlining and the gentrification, and you start to talk about all these things, just talking to that man about this stuff, for one, it's a deep, stimulating conversation that Tatiana might not have with him. Loose Booty 901, she not trying to have that conversation. So now he's stimulated. His mind is open. He's stimulated mentally in a way he's never been stimulated, and y'all just conversing. But now, just having this conversation, it starts to illuminate some truths to him. He starts to see the error in his ways. He starts to understand his makeup, his history, his biography, and the makeup of his manhood, the makeup of who he is. he starts to evaluate his uncle, his brother, his father, his male cousins, and he starts to see their brokenness and their dysfunction. And now he starts to see the unraveling of our society, our culture, our race, and he starts to identify and evaluate the role he plays in it. So we don't have these conversations enough, and the people who have them typically are so angry and so loud that you can't hear them, because they're doing so much yelling and screaming, and they cussing out the white man and the Asian man and this and that man, that you can't even receive their message because they're so unhinged. But we're not really thinking about this. But see, I thought about it, and I wrote about it in my very first book when I was 22 years old, because I realized a lot of times your answer to the present lies in your history. And so today it's come down to a situation for black women to be married. If you're a black woman and you want to be married, you really going to have to separate yourself from the crowd. You're not going to be able, unless you're going to get in that game and play that game all the way, meaning you're going to get the biggest booty done at Dr. Pahokee, Dr. whatever, Nashville. Unless you're going to go get the biggest, roundest booty, get the supplest, nicest, perkiest breath, get the tightest tummy tuck, unless you finna get in that game and compete and go all out trying to build a body, then you're not going to win that way. Like, that's senseless. It is worthless, but that's what it has come to. We've come to a society where a lot of women are playing to the lustful, untamed desires of grown boys. So grown boys, scammers, drug dealers, wannabe thugs, SoundCloud rappers, these guys who lost as an upside down GPS, don't know it left from his right on any day of the week, up from down. He going in circles, sinking in the quicksand, but he looked like he's somebody, looked like he got some money, looked like he know what he talking about, looked like he tough, looked like he got it going on, but he is unraveling, busting at the seams. He losing it all on the inside. He hurt, he lost, he mad with his daddy still, he mad with the government, he mad with the other races, and he masking it with muscles or with smoking or with drinking or with swag and clothes, and that's why a lot of time people get on to black people and say, oh, why they buy all this jewelry? Look at these rappers' jewelry. I read a line that say, rock a lot of ice because we got a lot of pain. When you playing sports and you get hurt, your knees and all that, you put ice on it. You ice to get that swelling down. That's what that slogan, that saying meant, was about these rappers, like putting on all this diamonds to cover up their insecurities, to cover up their pain. And as black people, especially black men, we try to buy our self-worth. And that's why we equate our self-worth to our net worth. So it's like sometimes people say, well, why do you have to? I was talking to a white male financial manager yesterday, and I was talking to him about a client who, gonna be buying a $200,000 car, but yet she talk on wealth and stuff like that. And he was like, buying a $200,000 car is not the way to buy wealth. And that's common sense. That is common sense. We all know that. Even the people who have $200,000 cars, we all know that. But a white person can pull up in America in a Toyota Camry, and you have the assumption that he or she could be a millionaire. could have $800,000 in their 401k and own their home outright that's been paid off in 15 years instead of 30, and it's worth $300,000. So now 1.1 million, this person could be a millionaire. We have the assumption that this white person driving this Toyota Camry can be a millionaire. If a black person pulls up in a Toyota Camry, we assume that that person makes less than the amount of money to afford that Toyota Camry, and they are living beyond their means. Unless that black person is a Google verifiable person that you can Google their net worth. So if Tyler Perry pulls up in a Toyota Camry, you know Tyler is driving that Toyota Camry because he wants to drive a Toyota Camry, because you have seen his movie deals publicized online. If Tyrone Smith drives up in that Toyota Camry, you assume that he's driving his girlfriend, his baby mama, his grandma, his auntie Toyota Camry, because you know you don't think a black man want to drive a Toyota Camry, because you assume he want a Corvette, he want a Mustang, he want Chevy Impala, something. So being black in America comes with so many accusations, false accusations, assumptions, stereotypes. So when you are successful as a black person, but no one knows that you are successful, you're not a household name, you're not Michael Jordan, you're not LeBron James, you find a lot of black people will, especially black men, try to buy their self-worth, trying to buy net worth, essentially, too. Because a lot of people will become everything you see materially is all they have to their name, or more than they have to their name, but it's them trying to get a seat at the table, because they know because of the color of their skin, they won't be able to get a seat at the table. But if you black and you pull up in a Bentley, you actually get treated the same way as a white person pull up in a Bentley. If you black, you pull up in a Toyota Camry, you might not get treated the same way as a white person in a Toyota Camry. Now, it is hard for white people to hear. It's hard for other races who looking in, but when you live it, you know it to be true. And I've pulled up to a hotel in a Bentley and saw the difference of a treatment. I've pulled up to a hotel in a G-Wagon. I'll pull up to a hotel in a Maserati. I've driven luxury cars and had luxury cars and rode in luxury cars and saw the difference in the way I'm treated when I look like I have money. You see what I mean? One thing I noticed too, as a black man, see, I don't have a watch on right now, but I have watches, luxury watches. One thing I notice as a black man, when I go out, if I have on a Rolex, that's the first thing every single white man notices. The first thing. The worker, I was at a tennis match watching Roger Federer, I think that's his name, and sitting down courtside, me and my wife, and the white guy in front of us, sitting one row in front of us, we was like on row 3. He stood up and he asked me, he said, when did you get your tickets? And I said, I just got them today. He said, oh, wow, were they pretty expensive? Now, so I'm like, you know how much they cost? You down here. Roger Federer out there, one of the greatest to ever do it. You know how much these tickets cost. So what you asked me, this is what I'm thinking in my head. I was like, no, that was pretty reasonable. I shot myself in the foot because I told them they was $200. Them tickets, they were sitting down there, if you buy it for that tournament, them tickets was $4,000. So me and my wife, that would have cost $8,000, but we just had flew in for our anniversary, just was gonna go to a hotel and heard a man say he was going to the tennis match. My wife liked tennis. I Googled it. Some people who couldn't make it that day sold their tickets that day. So blessings and favor. You see what I mean? Favor on my life. So the guy, He was dressed real uniquely. He saw how we was dressed. He knew we wasn't dressed like the typical tennis goers. That was our very first professional tennis match. So he was right by judging us, but we still would dress decent. And I had a Rolex on, okay? The worker came down, and the worker was standing there. You know, I don't know what he was standing there for, but it's you working, sir. Sir, you working. I'm watching tennis, all right? You working. It was a young white guy. He said, hey, that's a nice watch. I get this from every white man I ever bump into. That's a nice watch. When they say that, when they see that watch, now I've made it out of the ghetto and I'm on their level. And they literally inquire about that watch. And the guy said, he was like, that's a nice watch. He said, is it a vintage watch? Because see, listen, if it's vintage, that means I could have got it for $5,000. I mean, it could. He asking, is it old? Cause that's a really nice Rolex. Is it old? I said, oh no, this is 2015. I got it in 2015 in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive. Oh wow, oh nice, oh that's amazing. Oh, that is nice. That's my dream watch. And I was like, oh okay, yeah, thank you. I get that all the time. So what you have to realize is, I share all that whole story to take you through the black male experience. I don't know what the black female experience is like when it comes to that. But see, as a black man in America, the number one focus for black men is getting ahead financially, because it is survival financially, because getting married is not really a thing. Like you're not talked to about marriage. You're not talked to about marriage for your life plan with most black males. And the reason why is because his mother is drowning in bills. The last thing she don't have a man. In a lot of cases, she doesn't. His father's not in the home, or the second child's father, or the third child's father is not in the home. So her last thought is to talk to her son about how to treat a woman and to get married, because she's drowning in bills. She's stressed. She's pulling her hair out. She got migraines. She crying at night. She working her finger to the bone, and she trying everything in her power not to have to sleep with a man to get help with paying her bills. And a lot of women single mothers end up sleeping with a man who may be controlling, who may be toxic, who may be abusive, just so she can have half of the rent and half of the bills, because she doesn't have the education to increase her earning, because her mother and or father were broke, busted, and disgusted. So see, it's a trickle down, and it comes up to us, to this day and age now, that we have to change the narrative, that we got to share what we know, share what we understand, and talk about it to your children. Talk about it to your nieces and your nephews if you're the single aunt or uncle. Talk about your heritage, your lineage, whatever race you may be, and the role that your race or your heritage has played, your family, your lineage has played in society. To talk about that, to evaluate the good and the bad and the ugly, to address it, and to provide a solution for it. So today, what we have to realize and what we have to understand is, with black women, you're going to have to shift the narrative. So you're going to have to, don't keep doing like the black men was doing, or some still are doing, a lot still are doing, and taking the easy route. Because see, I noticed last night, see, the easy route is the powers that be promote a certain look and certain image of black people. So they promote these kind of rappers, these kind of artists. And so the regular people want to look like those artists. The regular people want to look like that and be like that and sound like that and act like that, because that person represents success. So the young lady made a song about being the man girlfriend on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the other woman can have them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that literally is what a lot of black women started doing, or have always been doing, but it reinforced it. Okay, I'm not the only one. Oh, that's not that bad. And it's like, woman, you really wrote this song or let somebody write this song for you, and y'all really put this song out, this foolishness? What in the world is y'all talking about? You think this what we needed after everything we'd have been through, after everything we going through in relationships? You finna put this foolishness out? But that's what these artists doing. But they getting the green light because at the very, very top, the only black person you heard of is L.A. Reid. But he just like the rest of them, just like all the white owners of the record labels. So now this becomes the standard. This becomes what people say is black. This is black excellence, black success. It's like, even with Jay-Z, he doing a lot of business, he doing a lot of great things, but when you listen to his music, the music ain't necessarily caught up to what he doing in the boardroom. In the music, still a lot of it talking about, selling drugs and flexing and flossing and being the man, but it's not really a complete laid out clear blueprint for success. It's still pandering. And even with Beyonce, she making her music relate to the people. So she did a song with Meg Thee Stallion, and you listen to her music, true. And then but Beyonce partnered with her, but what Beyonce doing in real life, a whole lot of good, but nobody see that good. Everybody ain't even watch the BET Awards. Everybody don't see the good. They just hear the music. And if the music is not edifying, uplifting, and empowering, then it's the opposite. It's tearing down. But that's what's greenlit, and that's what's rewarded. And it's rewarded because it is ointment to open wounds. It is Excedrin to migraines. So nobody really want to hear positive, intellectual, woke music because they already in pain. And to hear the truth hurts because the truth holds you accountable. So people say, I don't want to hear that. Man, give me something I can relax to. Give me something ratchet. Come on now. Yeah, I like that. And so this generation rewards the ratchet and then rebukes the righteous. Rewards the ratchet and rebukes the righteous. Just made that up right here. All them R's go together. Reward the ratchet and rebuke the righteous. Woo, 4 R's. Yeah, drop it on. So this what's going on right now in society. I got to get going here. I got to coach in a little bit. And so what you have to realize is it's just a trickle down effect. So you got to, you got to stop letting somebody pee on your head and tell you it's raining. You heard that they used the nasty word for it. But you got to stop letting somebody pee on your head and tell you it's raining. And that's what we doing right now. So with black women, what you're going to have to do is you can't worry about changing a man. You can't change that man, but you got to change you. I talk about you got to change you. And when you change you because you have the agency over your life and because you're seeking the knowledge, then the man has no choice but to change. He ain't got no choice but to change. And then what's going to happen is, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have this woman over here who she classy. She not trying to use her body as bait. She can't hide her curves or whatever it is. She can't hide it. She ain't trying to hide it, but she ain't trying to let it all hang out and flaunt it and dangle it in a man's face, because she's not trying to objectify herself. So she classy, sexy, sophisticated, smart, strong. She focused, right? And she is abstinent. She living right. So guess what? She gonna be single. She's gonna be single for a season. And it's gonna be man after man after man trying her. all of the bums, all of the grown boys, they're going to fall to the wayside because they can't meet her standards. So they're going to fall. It might be 5, 6 men in a row. Then it's going to be a unique man, a special man, a man who is ready to grow. He's going to come. He's going to realize he's going to be of my mindset. He's going to be, it's different mindsets out here. He's going to be in the same vein of a man who has woken up. And he's going to say, this is what I want. Because she's not playing to the weak hand. She's not trying to be like these women rappers. She's not trying to go and redo everything about herself. She embracing herself. And she might get a little bit done here and there, but she ain't trying to go Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, look like Frankenstein, trying to redo head to toe, new creation, build a body, build a bear, because she's falling in love with herself and appreciating her body, her looks, her energy, everything about her. So this man, he sees you and he says, that's what I want. And now y'all hit it off. See, Ratchet Ruby, Loose Booty 901, Tatiana, they over here twerking on Instagram, booty all out, trying to bait a man, but they are attracting the slave-minded men. The men who been getting beat by the slave master and just so traumatized, so broken, get mad at the people that's trying to learn how to read books, learn how to get their freedom, learn how to build wealth, getting mad at them, calling them lame and squares and simps, getting mad at them. So this man, he hurting, he lost, he goes to her. Loose Booty 901. He go to her, but he take his pain out on her. So he take his pain out on her. Now eventually she takes and she looking in the mirror and she like, whoa, raccoon eyes, because of what at this man, at his hands, because of his hands, she going through it. He lying, he cheating, putting hands on her, he cursing her out because he full of pain. He lost, he hurt, he broken. He passing that pain to her. She get pregnant, she have a baby, she crying on her baby. Her baby face soaking wet because she crying on the baby while she trying to feed the baby. So she goes to the gym, and because she got to keep that body up because he only want her for the body. So instead of having some time after having that baby, she feel like she got to bounce back in 3 weeks or less. So she to the gym, she meets you, classy, respectable, self-loving, single, in your single, and she sees your strength, she sees your peace, she sees your happiness. Y'all in the sauna, y'all start to talk. She said, every time I see you, you look so happy, you glowing. You look at her, you see little marks on her face, and you say, well, I don't have the headache of a no good man. You know, that's I ain't realize how much stress that take off of me. I'm waiting on a real man, my real husband. You start to minister and speak to her life. Okay, you let her know, if you ever need to talk, here's my card. I'm on my mentor.life. I'm a certified life coach. Here's my card. She got the money because her boyfriend who put hands on her, baby daddy who put hands on her, he give her money after he get done putting hands on her because he think that's what's going to keep her. She can hire you for coaching. You done got your life coach certification. This your second stream of income. So she see that you got a job and you got another stream of income. She done went to mymentor.life, done book you. So now y'all talking. Guess what? Now your stance where you thought you were losing, but you had to be emotionally intelligent and remind yourself that you winning. What you realize that these women that is hurting and they broken and they lost and they using their body to bait men, and they selling their body and all of that right there, you realize she hurt, she crying, she frustrated, she tired of getting used, she tired of getting played. They are not winning. They are not winning. So what's going to happen is she finna get on your team. She finna say, listen, I'm finna put some clothes on. Gonna start walking out around here with no clothes on out here in the grocery store, and got this little 6-year-old boy done stopped and ran into the rack because he looking at my booty cheeks hanging out my shorts. I'm finna put some clothes on. I'm finna start reading books. I'm finna start keep getting this coaching on my mentor.life. I'm finna change my life. She get the strength. She lead that grown boy. Now this grown boy, he keep losing these women. And they losing them because of the example of the strong, solid, powerful women. So now, guess what? These men like myself who used to be in the streets hustling, who used to be a grown boy, wake up and get a queen. Okay, boom. Get a queen. Influenced by the queen. A woman's influence, her strength, her standard, her quality, her poise influenced me. Left the streets, left the sleeping around, left the womanizing, stepped into my purpose. So now the grown boy, he look at me, he say, man, you make more money than me. You happier than me. Your kids blessed. Your wife blessed. Hey, bro, how you get that? This how I live. Let me let you know how I live. Come on over here, my mentor.life. So now, see, each one is reaching one. So in order to change it, you can't conform to the norm. You can't just because it's normal don't mean it's right. So getting on your bike, sleeping around, letting all your booty hang out and selling with your body, leading with your body, just because it's the norm don't mean it's right. You can't conform to the norm. You got to be abnormal. People gonna look at you like you crazy. They're gonna call you crazy. They're gonna call you lame. They're gonna call you a square. They're gonna tell you, excuse me, I'm here getting ready. I'm about to go to my preacher. Well, I'm about to start preaching. They're gonna tell you that you're gonna be single till you die. They're gonna tell you all of that. Ooh, Lord, hold on now, Lord. I ain't trying to preach now. So when you stay the course and you do what you're supposed to do, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna start to look at you. So now, guess what? It's so many men now who was grown boy just like I was, calling me and said, hey, man, I need some help. Man, I want to change, bro. Man, I want to be in my son's life. I want to be in my daughter's life, man. I want to make things right, man. I want to get out the streets, man. I want to stop sleeping around because I'm true to mine. I ain't trying to be like no lost rapper. I ain't trying to be like no lost athlete, no lost actor, just because that's what the media is showing me. No, I'm going to be true to me. I'm going to do me. And then guess what? When they see that I'm 10 toes down and I'm peaceful and I'm prosperous and I'm blessed and highly favored and I'm happy, guess what? These men, they're going to want some of this here peace. They're going to want some of this here longevity. See, longevity, prosperity. Prosperity with longevity. It ain't fly by night. It ain't flash in the pan. They say, man, how in the world? You rappers say, boy, I lost all kind of money in the pandemic. What you over there doing? Oh, I'm working in my purpose. Oh, man, let me get in my purpose. You mean tell me I could have still been blessed and feed my family in the pandemic if I was on purpose, in purpose, on purpose? Absolutely. But now you waiting on a show. You waiting on a speaking engagement. You waiting on a concert. When if you would have tapped into your purpose, you started your online business, start helping people, you'd have still been able to feed your family in the here pandemic. You see what I'm saying? So you got to stay the course. And it's going to start to shift in your favor. See, the first will be last, the last will be first. So you might be last right now, but you're going to be first. I was looking yesterday, some pastors out of Atlanta got exposed, a young couple. And me and my wife, we never be on that. We never be on that faking photo shoots and doing photo shoots and all that. We don't do all that because it's real. So we not trying to do nothing for the ground. If we post a picture, it's a natural picture and it's a normal picture and it ain't even all the time. It might be a date night once a week, which we can't always do all the time, but we keep it authentic. We don't try to front for the ground. But I was just seeing people got exposed And after trying to be perfect and try to look perfect and try to sound perfect, and now all these people sounding off on them. And I say, you know what? The first will be last, the last will be first. This world is a fake world. So the real gonna look fake and the fake gonna look real. But all that, guess what? I got a saying that say, the real will be separated from the fake in due time. In due time, the real will be separated from the fake. Stay the course. It's a lot of people gonna sleep on you. They gonna think you pandering. They gonna think you fake. They gonna think you phony. They gonna think you this and that. But when you stay the course, eventually all them fake gonna fall off. You gonna see all the women that's selling their body, that giving their body away, that doing this and that, that's singing on the microphone, that's going and getting their whole head to toe done. They got new eyelids. They doing everything over. Got a new chin, got a new back. They doing everything over. And you keep seeing them with a boyfriend. They keep a man. And you feeling like you losing. No, you don't know what she going through. Trust me, because I'm on the other end of that phone. Trust me, until you get your life coach certification, which today is the last day to get it at 70% off on TonyGassAcademy.com. Link in the description. Till you get certified, I'm the one coaching them. All right? I need your help, though. And I know what she going through. Miserable. You hear me? Miserable. Listen, you wouldn't, although you feel like be winning, what y'all H's, what y'all be saying, they ain't what they are, the child of God, all right? Although you feel like they be winning, they be losing. They be losing. You hear me? I mean, it be painful. So keep your blessed, single, happy, standard-filled life. Your man is on the way. And guess what? When we stick to our standards, that's what's going to change this course. And you're going to see black women getting married at a much higher rate, because you're going to see black men forced to grow up and man up and be a man, because they're going to see real examples of real men winning. And they're going to want a piece of that pie. And then they're going to want a piece of your pie, but they're going to understand because of your standards, they got to put a ring on it before they get a piece of it. Hey, this is Tony Gass. I'm probably late for my coaching call. Forgive me to my client. God bless you. We'll talk soon.